Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, good afternoon.
So we've just completed a whole week in Berlin, exploring the city, visiting with our really good friend Eula and getting to meet her whole family, and exploring a lot of what Berlin has to offer.
So our friend Eula was extremely generous and allowed us to stay at her apartment just in the suburbs of Berlin.
So the S-Bahn was great. We bought a 7-day pass, so it was quite affordable. We could get on and off the train whenever we wanted, and we could do the S-Bahn and the U-Bahn. But one of the very first things that we did that was a lot of fun was a hop-on, hop-off bus tour. And that was great because we got to see a lot of the highlights from the city. So that was a good way to kind of, familiarize ourselves with what we wanted to go back and look into a little bit more.
The first day we also saw Checkpoint Charlie, which was interesting but also a little bit commercialized. There was literally a McDonald's right beside it. But that was still interesting to see and learn about the history of that area.
We really enjoyed, especially me, the Technology Museum.
Yeah.
So that was a great museum full of the history of the railways and rail technology, boats, flight, computer history. So that was a really great day. We spent half a day walking around through that museum.
The museum I preferred was the Jewish Museum, which we learned all about actually Jewish culture and history, and also the Jewish Holocaust. So that was quite informative, and it was very, there were some displays that were more artistic.
The architecture was unbelievable.
Another day we did a walk, well, we walked a lot again, but we walked along what they call the East Side Gallery, which is the remaining section of the wall. And so it's now full of graffiti art that is done by professional artists. And you walk about almost a kilometer section and get to learn or just see the Berlin Wall.
And all these artists and their understanding and their experiences living in a city and a country divided. So that was really, really cool, really powerful.
And the last museum we did was the DDR Museum, which talks about sort of the division between East and West. And so it's the eastern part of Berlin and Germany. And we got to learn about
jobs and food and products.
And what they had access to or not access to, where they could travel, where they couldn't travel.
How their society was organized, how their city worked. It was really neat because my family has a history in East Germany, and so we got to learn a lot more about what life was like during that time when everybody was divided.
We ate a lot. Eula was really amazing. She brought us to this extremely high-end sushi place for Aaron's birthday one evening, and that was we've never eaten sushi food like that. Better than Vancouver. And the second night we ate Schnitzel and had the biggest Schnitzel in the world, which was delicious.
I got to try a Berliner Weissbier, and that was really quite tasty. We got to eat Schnitzel again at a Hofbrauhaus in Berlin, but it's normally from Munich, but that was quite good. And we spent a lot of time going to Eula's coffee shop, Nano Coffee, which if you have a chance to go to Berlin and try Nano Coffee, it's delicious, wonderful, very well made, and super tasty.
Well, we were able to spend time with Eula's family, her mother and her grandparents. So one day we did something very traditional German. We went for coffee and cake. And then we went to Eula's grandparents' village via an old tram, which was phenomenal.
100-year-old tram that still runs every 10 minutes and takes everybody through a forest into their little village on the side of a beautiful lake. And they were very welcoming and accommodating to us, and Eula did all the translating back and forth.
Yes, translating.
It was really great. It was a wonderful time. We visited many churches that were beautiful inside and outside. Some churches were still in a state of damage, and they were left that way in order to remind everybody about the impacts of the war.
So Berlin was a bit of a unique city for us. You can see the effects of the war still. There's some modernization, some older buildings, but it's quite eclectic. And I personally found it a little bit there's a lot of graffiti everywhere.
We really appreciated the chance to kind of be there with locals, to experience the local and the non-tourist side of things in Berlin. We got to try lots of great food, and we got to see lots of beautiful things. And so we really appreciated our time and our whole week there, and hope to be back one day.
Yes.
And we want to again thank Eula and her family. For putting us into their homes and for showing us around and for treating us so well and making it very special and unique visit.
And answering all of our questions. We had a lot of questions.
But yeah, see you in the next video. Auf Wiedersehen.